And we just finished our 1 hour, 40-minute work session. So welcome everybody. We're convening our monthly board meeting, and this is June 25th, 2024. Board members present are Doug Rushton, Mary Ann Tompkins, David Ayal, and myself, Betsy DeVreda. TJ Johnson is absent with an excuse that we will accept. Also present is our executive director, Sarah Moorhead, Sophia Barashkov. Do I have that right?
Yes.
And our legal counsel, Ben Cushman, our WACD legal representative, Ryan, last name. And then is anyone else there that I don't know about? Okay. So let's start the meeting. The first thing on the agenda is the agenda review. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none.
I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, so we'll take a vote. Doug?
Aye.
Mary Ann?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
And I vote, chair votes aye. So we've approved the agenda, and now we will move on to the consent agenda, which has the board meeting minutes from the last session, the financial report, and several contracts, and some items to surplus.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, David.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Okay, so let's vote on the consent agenda. David?
Aye.
Mary Ann?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
And chair votes aye, so that's all in favor. So the next thing on the agenda is the public comment period. This is a chance for anyone either online via Zoom or in the office there to make any comments related to the work we do. Is there anyone there?
No.
Okay, so no one is there and there's no one online. So we'll move on to the partner reports. So we do not have anyone present, correct, except for Doug?
No, and Ryan, I've asked Ryan to come. Well, I knew Ryan was coming to this. So I said, Ryan, can you do an overview of what's going on with WACD?
Okay.
I do have an email report from Josh Gentoli from the State Conservation Commission as well.
Are you going to read it or email it to us?
It's just a couple of notes. I'll just let you know out loud. We don't consistently also have our NRCS participation. Sometimes we'll have something in the packet. So that's something that the board can consider, maybe bringing them on if there's a particular reason, instead of having them as a standing item, since we don't typically get a representative from NRCS. But for the State Conservation Commission, Josh had something come up this evening. He was planning on being here. He said there's not a lot to report. The state fiscal year is coming to a close. That carries all of the regular work for staff to close out grants and begin new ones. Pretty routine. He also is aware of our audit process, but we've already gone over that. He had a great orientation meeting with Mary Ann and wanted to note that too. And then of course, if anybody has any questions, that he's available. And that's all he shared.
Great.
Thank you.
Would
the chair allow additional information from other commission representative reports I've heard at other district meetings this month?
Certainly.
Okay. There's a couple of staff changes at the commission. They have a new appointed policy director, Kate Delavan, who was in the Office of Farmland Preservation Office, is the permanent position, and they will be hiring for her vacancy. So that's the part of the commission that oversees easements, farmland preservation, and work in that space. They also have hired a community wildfire and forest resiliency program manager, Jenny Coe or Cove. I haven't seen it spelled. It's
Coe.
just Coe.
Cool.
She worked for Skagit and Whatcom CD before spending a couple years with DNR. And I believe she's starting, if not July 1st, July 15th.
Is
And
that a
then-
new position? Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is. And they are also hoping to announce the hire of a riparian grant. Is it RGP or RPG? I can't remember.
RGP.
Our riparian grants program manager. So this was the funding that the commission has received through the legislature and would be the person overseeing the program guidelines, implementation, and helping the district staff up this dedicated riparian grant program. That position, I know they've gone through at least 2 rounds of interviews and are hoping to hire and have that person in place before the end of the summer. The other piece of information to share is that there's going to be a July commission meeting in Vancouver. I believe 17th and 18th would be the Wednesday, Thursday, looking at the calendar. Yes. So if anyone wants to go down and see what Clark CD is doing, very interesting stuff down there. Always interesting just to see other conservation districts and their work. And if anyone gets asked, because I know Thurston County with all of the statewide agency folks who live in the area, it'd be helpful for you to know, or at least be aware of, that the commission is being sued. They, at their May meeting, approved the election of a Clallam CD supervisor. And there is someone who disputed the, Doug, you were there. I'm trying to remember. I don't.
Something to do with the way the ballots were counted.
Yeah, so the commission reviewed the dispute, voted to certify the election, and that person has then filed lawsuit against the commission for certifying that election. And there's a whole bunch of other things happening in Clallam County,
Yeah.
but just because Thurston, you guys probably run into folks for statewide things, you might get asked about something else for. So just letting you know that there's a lawsuit and then a number of things happening in Clallam CD around a diking project involving some a homeowners association, an irrigation district, and now a holding is going in front of a superior court judge, I believe, in the next couple of months. So
I do know a little bit about that one, having worked up there. There's irrigation ditches all over the place around Spin, the Dungeness Irrigation District. Basically, what always filled was full of water. We used to go fishing in them
Yeah.
and catch really nice trout. Anyway, the leaching of the water out of the irrigation ditches was replenishing wells around the area. And they're talking about tightening it, basically putting a pipe so the groundwater recharge wouldn't be there. And the homeowners are concerned about that.
So anyway, just letting you know,
Thank you.
that's something that I've heard other commission staff present about at other district meetings, so.
All right, thank you.
Great tour at Whitman, or Palouse.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
that was good.
meeting in May, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
All right,
Are you ready for me to give the WACD report now, Madam Chair?
so you've concluded your WACD report. Thank you.
No, that was the commission's report.
Oh, now you will begin your next report. Please carry
Yeah.
on.
Okay, so for the record, my name is Ryan Bay. I work for Your State Association. My title is, as Doug put it so eloquently earlier, basically is legislative director. I work on the resolutions that the membership has adopted and prioritizes the work of myself and the other WACD staff. And I live in Lacey, but I travel a lot across the state, going to other and visiting other conservation districts. And this was a good time for me to come and visit Thurston. Doug asked me to give the regular WACD report. And the things to share from the association is that we had our board meeting at the Plant Material Center, the nursery that we own in Skagit County last week, where we adopted a new work plan for the fiscal year and a new budget. The takeaway for our membership is that we are trying to add a couple of additional services for our conservation districts to the membership. Last year, we were able to sign a legal retainer with CSD out of Bellingham to provide reduced legal services for conservation districts. And this year, the services that we're trying to add are IT and IT help desk. And then in partnership or potentially on our own, coordinate with getting a HR help desk and HR resources more available to conservation districts. There was a resolution about 2 years ago that was adopted by the membership asking us to look into and specifically offer stuff like this. There's a group of district managers who helped survey the membership, identifying as districts get bigger, what is something that you don't already have immediate or available access to, and legal services, IT support, and HR help were the three that the membership as a whole said, we don't have someone either on staff or an easy contract with, and was hoping for additional services. So we'll be able to get that out the door hopefully sooner than later, since as districts are adding staff, going into additional complexity, that the challenges kind of change, and making sure that we're keeping you as safe within the bounds of law and legality. It's always a good thing. So that's something that we're glad to be able to offer to folks like Thurston and other conservation districts. We have several committees that are operating over the summer. If there's anyone who wants to get involved, we're working on everything from making sure that there's plant materials for conservation districts. You have a couple Thurston CD folks, including TJ, who are a part of a ag loan work group looking into what are the barriers to purchasing the big capital equipment that sometimes goes along with conservation practices. We also have a livestock committee, a renewable resources working group that is trying to find where there's an appropriate spot for conservation districts to get involved when it comes to renewable resources, everything from tidal power to biochar to geothermal to solar and wind. So hopefully they can find something to thread the needle. And of course, the Sustainable Funding Committee is still going on. And I have not forgotten about the resolution that Thurston brought forward last year around plastic reduction and recycling. I'm hoping to find someone who could speak at the annual conference about this and have the conversation that happened at the Southwest area meeting be brought up to a higher consciousness at the state level, which that meeting will be in Spokane at the Northern Quest Casino, December 2nd, 3rd, and then the business meeting would be the 4th of December, so the week after Thanksgiving. And nothing, so I'm here to answer questions. I can get into all the politics you want. That's a big portion of my job, is working with the legislature when they're in session. But mostly I'm here to learn about Thurston CD, to listen and be available so that anyone who wants to reach out to us for anything knows what we look like and how to get a hold of us. Yes, Sarah.
If I can jump in, Betsy, just two quick comments on the things that you shared. One on the plastics reduction and recycling pieces. I know that WSDA has been working in this arena, and that would be great to pull in that agency partnership. Also, one of our former board members is some sort of regional director in Waste Connections.
Okay.
And so that might be an interesting nexus too, to pull in any kind of private sector recycling support that could be part of that conversation. On the HR services piece, shared services that you mentioned, it's worth noting that our risk pool insurer, Endurus, is also forging a new partnership with another professional outfit.
Yeah, we were the ones that reached out to them and say, hey,
Yeah,
can you help us? And they were like, oh, well, what if we did this? And so they're negotiating, Endurus is negotiating with this third party that specifically does HR services, everything from template forms for hiring, firing, job performance, everything that needs to go into an HR thing.
consulting
Yeah.
and employment law and
Yeah.
bargaining sounded like maybe
Yeah.
there was some support services there too. And this would be an additional expense that we could opt into as part of our traditional insurance.
Or WACD could cover the basic cost for conservation districts.
I like that one.
That low level is $600, and $600 times 45 CDs. I can't do math off the top of my head, but it's within the amount of money that the board allocated for us to spend it towards it. So
Yeah.
we're letting Endurus take the lead to make that
Relationship.
first, and if they can't make it work, then we'll step in.
220.
Thank you.
It's great to get the details and see how these resolutions come to fruition. I appreciate the complexity of the whole process and seeing the end result of some of them.
Good.
All right,
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, Madam Chair, can I speak as well?
yes, you may.
Okay, I got just a couple of details to add on the WACD stuff.
Yeah.
When I talked to Brooke Beeler about the plastics thing,
Mhm.
she's the ecology region manager for Eastern Region. She said the person that's ahead of it for ecology is in our Spokane office. So that might really convenient to have that person speak.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know who it is.
yeah,
And for what it's worth, that's a program I started in the Spokane office
okay.
372 years ago.
I did remember one additional thing I'd like to bring up. This is on the agenda now, or is it later, Sarah?
Nope, now is it?
Okay, the Southwest area meeting, this is the regional meeting of the conservation districts from Thurston south and west to the coast. You are scheduled to host the meeting in October, and along with that and that's the reason why I'm bringing something to you where there's a vacancy. One of your two representatives to the state board of directors, what we call an area director, he lost his election at Clark CD this spring, and as he is no longer a supervisor, Jerry Kolke is no longer Southwest area representative. As the host of the meeting, as the Southwest Area Executive Committee is the official title, I am coming to the Thurston board with that information and letting you know that that vacancy exists. If you want to fill the vacancy before the October meeting, my thought is I could send an email out to all the supervisors in Thurston, Lewis, Clark, Cowlitz, Wahkiakum, Pacific, and Grays Harbor CDs, letting them know that this is available. And if anyone steps forward to bring them as potential candidates to either your July or August meeting, there is less of an urgency here because the state board takes the summer off. So our next meeting is until September, which would be before your September meeting. And then in October is when this position would be up for election. And so basically they would only be in the role for one meeting. So I could still reach out and let the area know about the vacancy with the understanding that if no one steps forward, that it's very easy to be filled by the votership at that October meeting. Hopefully that all made sense, but just this vacancy is out there. My thought is with your blessing, I'd send out the email, see if anyone is interested. And if not, you would let that position come up for its regular election at the October meeting.
So I'm not sure I'm understanding when you say we would do this. This would be all the Southwest CDs, right?
The normal election in October, yes, but because you are scheduled to be the host of the Southwest area meeting, you serve as the special committee that would be able to fill the vacancy because it's midterm essentially.
Yep, each area has bylaws and our bylaws say just what Ryan said.
Yeah, so if it'd been Lewis had been the host, I would have gone to them. If it had been with Clark or Wahkiakum or Clark, so it's just rotating through. It's your year to host, and that means it's your year to answer the question.
And if for some reason our board is not comfortable with that, it sounds like it's pretty.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of business happening, and so the whole Southwest area could just re-elect for the new term in October.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
When do you need a decision by?
The next WA City Board meeting isn't until September 16th. If you want to think about it and then try to see in July and August if anyone wants to do it, or you can just say, Ryan, inform the area of this vacancy. If anyone steps forward, then I would come back to you because there might not be anyone. We've definitely had in the Southwest area rotation of supervisors who have been sitting on the state board.
That doesn't mean that one of us would have
No.
to fill that position,
No.
but somebody else could, and
Yeah.
then we would have to do the interview process.
Yeah,
basically.
I see.
the eligible candidates are all of the supervisors in the Southwest area, except for Wahkiakum and Cowlitz. They chose not to pay membership dues to participate in the association. for fiscal year 24. So they can't serve on the state board if they don't pay their dues. So-
And you could nominate Lisa from Grace Harbor or myself, because we're already on the board. So-
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can at least, so with your blessing, I think what you would like to know is if anyone's interested in the position. So I would send that email out to all the supervisors in the Southwest area. And if anyone says yes, bring that person, email with that person and potentially bring them to your awareness at your July meeting.
Okay,
I think I'm fine with it. We go that route.
Are you looking for a motion or just consensus
If,
from the
if
board?
if a basic thumbs up works.
yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. So we will proceed with that. Maybe we need to remember to put that on our next agenda for next month.
Just for the record, I disagree. I'd rather just let it be vacant. And from there.
I can't hear Doug.
It might prime the pump for the October election anyway, by telling people.
Doug shared that he disagreed that we should just focus on the reelection of the full term in October by the full membership.
And just
So we
not
should-
have anyone at the meeting. The one meeting. Is that what he's saying?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what your question was, Betsy.
The one
And so-
September
So
meeting.
just
Yeah.
not have,
Yeah, and then the workload that we'd have to do to vet whoever, I'm assuming we'd get somebody at least, maybe one or two.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's been hard in some places.
Yeah, and so the last, I can't remember the last time there was a competitive election for Southwest area director.
Hmm.
It's been a few years since we've had more than one person step forward to serve, and it's a 2-year position. It's a once a month meeting on the state board, and with 2 positions, the thought is you kind of split the area representative in half. So Jerry Kolke from Clark and Lisa Zabarak from Grace Harbor had kind of split the Southwest area between the 2 of them, just to make sure that they
Yeah.
were in touch with those districts. So I don't know if Jerry or Lisa were the ones who had kind of made themselves available to you, but
Lisa.
okay.
Yeah. And that's the way when I was an area director, that's how we did it too. Dean Longery took the south, I took the north. And
Yeah.
so we wouldn't have Doug driving to Vancouver and Dean lived there.
okay, so where do we want to leave that? It's the audio is not great, so where are we leaving that? Sarah, do you have a recommendation?
It really is up to the board on this one. Does it pose any hardship to let it ride until October to the WCD board?
Not to the WACD board. I would think that it would be helpful to at least inform the area of the vacancy and
Mhm.
making sure that everyone knows that this is what's happening. And I can say if someone wants to fill the position to step forward, put the onus on them. And that way the district doesn't have to do anything between now and October. I would be responsible for finding someone if anyone does step forward. And that way you've checked the boxes, folks know what's going on. And that way no one can say, oh, there's no appearance of you not doing anything
Yeah.
purposefully. It's just that no one stepped forward and you can't force someone to serve if no one wants to do it.
And for me, it's not a fatal flaw to go ahead with asking somebody to step forward. I just wouldn't do it that way, but that doesn't mean it's fatal.
So Betsy, it doesn't sound like there's extreme strong feelings either way, and that probably either option would be good. It would be probably good for some sort of communication to come out on behalf of the TCD board, since this
Yeah.
is our responsibility. So Ryan is recommending that he share that there's a vacancy, and that if there's interest for folks to contact him, and then he will let us know if anybody has shown any interest and wants to apply for the remaining couple of months of that position. I don't think there'll be a hardship on the staff side to work with Ryan to prepare that kind of information to bring to you. So I don't see any problems with that approach either.
Okay, great. Well, let's move forward with that then. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
I forgot about
All
that
right.
part. I had a couple more things on WACD. WACD is engaging in a marketing campaign as part of the 24-25 budget. 10K of that is going to go to educating new legislators on CD issues, and that's WACD. That's not money that they're going to send out to us. So that's for staff work there. Heather is adjusting the WACD policy manual to reflect how things are really done. So I think that update is good. And one of the things that really touched me was the PMC, the Plant Materials Center, is having an open house, which I think you all knew that. And they're developing a user's guide, which I think will help the CDs on how to interact with the PMC. And the last thing is another audit item. We decided to go on a 5-year plan for audits, with the first year being a focus of a full audit. And then on the other years, 2, 3, 4, and 5, there'd be focused audits on smaller items. And then the cycle would start again in year 6. And with the staff we've got, I don't think anything will get by on the audit. So I think that'll be good.
Well, thankfully, I don't have to do 3 audits at once, so anything's better than that.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Is there anything else we need to cover in the partner reports?
The budget, the annual plan of work, and the updated financial policies are all on the hub.
Okay,
And that's WACD. I do have information on NACD in addition to what I put in the board packet.
okay.
So go ahead. Okay. NACD is going to work with NRCS on conservation planning. This is conservation planning part 2. There's no fee. Participants would have to cover their cost to get there, though. There's 4 trainings from mid-July to late September. The closest one to us is Pend Oreille, Idaho, in late September. There's funding available in the forest restoration program. And as I mentioned earlier, Sarah, I'll give you my notes or email them to you so you don't have to copy this stuff or try to catch what I'm saying. The emergency forest restoration program helps owners of non-industrial private forest restore health damage from natural disasters like volcanoes, floods, fires, whatnot. And they're authorized payments to owners of private forest to restore disaster damaged forests. So that's a pretty big deal. That's through FSA. Second one is a series of FEMA grants on building resilient infrastructure in communities. And this would support local governments to undertake hazard mitigation projects to reduce risk. And it has to do with capability, capacity building, innovation, promoting partnerships, pretty broad stuff. And that's it.
Okay, great. Sounds like good stuff. So that completes our partner reports, and we're going to move on to governance, which is just setting up our work session topic list and the meeting agenda. Can we take a look at that? That's for July.
All right, this is our July work session topic list. We do have a community partner presentation from the Community Farmland Trust slated for July.
Do you think we'll have time for both of those presentations?
Yeah,
It's like today,
Okay.
yeah.
yeah, after today, I think so.
Okay, great.
And then the
Um,
other ones are standing items, and so we can also remove the ones that maybe if we don't have any items to share for that month.
Right. Do you think there will be more on the Riverbend?
Well,
Window will be open.
yeah, I can't say whether or not there'll be something that rises to the level of some information that the board would want to know in particular. We just held this as a standing item on there just in case there is, so that we can create space to have conversation about this project. But you know, I'm not anticipating it. It's just there as a safety net. I also don't anticipate we'll have anything for rates and charges. So that one
Well,
we
it's-
might
it's-
maybe just remove.
It's easy enough to take them off
Yeah,
at the meeting, so, and didn't you say that the, I mean, to take them off at the meeting? I wasn't. Well, and it seems like the Riverbend thing has kind of got a big thing happening very soon, so
Mhm.
be good to hear about it.
Yeah, and if the board is particularly interested, absolutely, we can provide more of the sort of construction updates or phases, just because you're interested in the
Mhm.
project. So that's absolutely fine too.
I think a debrief
Okay.
on the conservation tour tomorrow would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
And I was convincing with Ryan, and you guys might have already talked to this while I was not paying attention. Putting the Southwest Region's area director, I'm not sure if that should go in the work session or the actual meeting. I think Betsy's idea of doing that is
Oh.
good.
Yeah, maybe in
Okay.
the meeting, if you want to take action on something.
Yeah. Our attorney is shaking his head, yes.
All right, so we're gonna save that for the board meeting?
Yeah, it's a potential action item.
Okay,
So,
okay. So let's move down to the board meetings that covers the work session.
Okay, I see one error, excuse me. The commission person should be Josh.
And would the board like to leave NRCS on there? I think
Well-
we've seen them once in the last couple of years.
Seems like you're recommending we take it off. I'd be comfortable with that. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would offer that I could send probably email updates, or we could invite them as a special guest if there's a particular reason.
Okay. So let's go ahead and delete A.
I actually had dinner with Lynn at the WACD meeting last fall and encouraged her to come to these, and
And are they out of the Forest Service office by Blackwood?
yeah. And you-
Lynn should be also leaving on maternity leave shortly.
Yeah, well, you can see how well I convinced her to come.
Wait, who's on maternity leave? Nora?
Not yet. She'll be leaving at the end of this week, but Lynn Quat, who's our district conservationist, is due around the same time
Oh,
from NRCS.
okay. All right, so moving down the,
and that's not a governance item, so it should be a special item, or
Yeah.
you might want to put it as a potential action item under the partner report for WACD. And Doug, what do you think you should do?
Yeah, if you put it as
So-
WACD, we can,
So it's a potential action item under the partner report section, which is unusual, but fine under these circumstances.
and
Don't wanna do.
does
Okay.
a potential designation of area director or something like that, so we know.
So it's under 5B.
Are you opposed to putting it in the body of the meeting? Rather than the partner report?
No, so we can put it at the end of the partner reports for the mid-year budget review.
So
Just
make it the
so it
number
immediately
6.
follows WACD
Yeah.
report.
Number 6. What is it?
Or potential action.
Oh, we'll put south, don't put that. We'll put
Potential action.
southwest.
Yeah.
Area meeting director. And action item next to that.
Okay,
We can worry about formatting.
yeah. Fix that later, okay.
all right,
When would you like to know if I have someone or don't have someone? The Friday before?
Ideally, the Wednesday before,
So that would be if the meeting is on July 24th to 17th.
just so that if there's materials or anything, we can put it in the board packet.
Okay.
If not, that's fine too, but
Yeah, yeah. And I asked just so I can give a deadline to the Southwest area supervisors when I contact them. And I will let TJ is the chair and you or Sarah know one way or the other by that date.
Perfect.
Mhm.
And then that way we can also take it off the agenda if
Yeah.
there's nothing relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like the 15th would be a good due date.
I'll find something. I just want to know when Thurston wanted to know.
Okay. Moving down, everything look good to everyone else? Okay. All right, thank you. So back to the agenda for today, please.
It's just the standing one that we take off. Yeah.
We don't need to vote on this, do we?
Nope, this is just a draft and then we'll add and revise things throughout the next month before it goes back out to you guys again for review. So we'll pull up today's agenda and then we're moving right into an executive session.
Okay. Can I see that?
This is for us, public. Okay.
Okay, so we are now going to step out of this meeting for an executive session as authorized by
Step away from the truffle.
RCW. As authorized by RCW 42.30110(1)B to consider the selection of a site or the acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase. When public knowledge regarding such consideration will cause a likelihood
It's
of
a
a
document 110, but it's.
So we're gonna step out for,
Before one.
okay,
And
Can I go
extra
on?
doc after the RCW.
Yeah, Betsy's announcing our executive session. I think she's hearing feedback. Go ahead and proceed, Betsy.
okay. So we'll step out for 15 minutes, attending the meeting. Attending the meeting will be the supervisors that are present, that's Supervisor Ayal, Rushton, Tompkins, and DeVreda, and our executive director, Sarah Moorhead, and our legal counsel, Ben Cushman.
Do I need to be here? Where should I be here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. This is one where I wasn't sure if I should be here or not, but I'm certainly happy to be here. So.
I think it's exciting. Okay, so we're, Betsy, you're just gonna go ahead and join that breakout room that I sent over.
Okay, so we have returned from our executive session. No actions were taken. And we are now going to have a closed session for about 10 minutes. Is that right? I don't have the agenda in front of me. I'm not hearing you, Sarah. You're muted.
Sorry, Betsy, I'm pulling that up for you as we speak.
Thank you.
Yep. It's very tiny though,
It sure is.
and gray.
Whoops, back up. I can read it. So, whoops. Thank you. So we're going to have a closed session to discuss collective bargaining negotiations, and that is authorized by RCW 42.30.1404A. And we expect to be there for about, looks like 20 minutes.
15.
And the same people will be attending. The 4 supervisors will then be attending.
Yes.
And Sarah Moorhead, our executive director. So off we go.
Yep, I will open another breakout room.
All right, Sarah, don't forget to unmute.
All right.
That's the apartment one, 32 inches.
Wow.
That was from the,
Oh, we have finished our closed session. It's 7:49. We took no action during the closed session, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn if there are no further comments or things we need to cover.
So moved.
Second.
So, all right. Doug, how do you vote?
I want to stay overnight.
He
I
doesn't
vote
count.
Project a movie on the wall.
Okay, and Mary Ann,
Aye.
Doug, David,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So you're overruled, Doug. I'm sorry.
No, I said
Go
I.
home.
Oh, did you? Okay. All right, good.
And
It's
I-
unanimous.
I do try to keep close to the microphone, Betsy, so you can hear me better.
Yeah. You can come sleep here. We had a camp out here a couple nights ago.
I
Okay,
think I'll go home.
okay. All right. Well,
Goodbye.
thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next month. If
Great
not,
job, Betsy.
Yeah, good
see you on
job.
July 9th. Oh, thank you.